Marwa wants to use influence against the law. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video of the day. Today I want to address what Marwa said about the hay truck being arrested, the Weighbridge issues, and his claim that doing business in Kenya, in Africa, is hard. This analysis is not emotional, it is factual, it is legal, and is necessary because misinformation hurts ordinary Kenyans and honest businesses. So in this session, I'm going to dive deep. To start with, let me start with what Marwa claimed. Marwa came on camera and said that the hay truck was arrested, but it has now reached at the villa, and we could see how they are offloading the hay from the truck.
See, there is a lot of hay that is coming in. Serious hay. Here we go. We brought 300 bales of hay.
He started by saying the situation is very, very, very bad.
Oh my God. Guys, this is very sad. So I bought this hay, okay, in a farm in a town called Nakuru.
He explained that the hay was bought from a farm in Nakuru, transported towards Migori, and that this was the first time these drivers were coming to this side of the country.
So on the way this way, it's their first time coming this way. They didn't know the weighing area, that there was a weighing area, so they passed. So when those people who work at the weighing bridge, actually call it Weighbridge, in a place called Rongo, the same place where Daniel motorbike had issues, that area it's crazy.
He then said that the drivers did not know about the Weighbridge. They passed it, and the Weighbridge personnel chased them, arrested them, and took them to court. He added that he personally tried to talk to the officers as a human being, but they refused. He said that they were taken to the court, and the court, actually they had to pay 20,000 Kenyan shillings as a bail.
So when they saw that this vehicle had passed, they chased it. These guys didn't know, the driver and the conductor didn't know. So they arrested them. So me, I tried talking to them, trying to explain as a human being that honestly these guys didn't know, and ABC. They said no, they have to go to court. And the court didn't want to hear their story. They had to pay 20,000.
He then complained that counties have complicated businesses in Kenya, that it is actually very hard to do businesses in Africa, and that county government are extorting people.
Sometimes I feel like, for example, Kenya, we have things we call counties. They have really complicated things now. Even this vehicle to come all the way from Nakuru to enter this region, they were again arrested. The same thing happened when we were buying motorbikes, when I was bringing horses. Like, it's too difficult to do business here in Africa.
These words came from somebody that I never expected. Somebody like Marwa, I think he should not be talking about these issues. Yeah, because I believe that Marwa knows how, he has that brain to know how the laws in Kenya works. So let me start by saying this. Let me start with the most important legal principle. Ignorance of the law is not a defense. It does not matter whether it was your first time. It does not matter whether you are new to that route. It does not matter whether you claim you did not see the Weighbridge. In Kenya, a professional truck driver is expected to know the law. A truck driver is not a beginner. He is not a pedestrian. He is licensed to operate a heavy commercial vehicle. So, let me just, because of the educational thing, let me talk about what vehicles must pass a weighbridge. In Kenya, vehicles that must pass through weighbridge include trucks, lorries, trailers, tippers, commercial cargo vehicles, and even some buses, depending on axle load. We have seen passengers, especially those who are traveling from Nairobi, let's say to Migori. There are some two-way bridge that the buses that carries people. If buses that carry people can pass through a weighbridge, what about this lorry? There's a weighbridge in Mayu. There's another weighbridge in Rongo, and there is another weighbridge that is being constructed in Awendo. Apart from that, we also have some portable weighbridge that you can see. There is a double KB pickup that usually carry return rates, others called patrol. Especially these ones, they are being placed temporarily, especially when they realize that there are some lorries or some trails are passing some other shortcuts, so that they don't want to be weighed in the weighbridge. And let me say this, these vehicles are weighed because to prevent overloading, to protect roads from damage, to ensure public safety, and to enforce axle load regulations, and lastly, to ensure fair competition amongst transporters. This is not optional. This is not a suggestion. This is the law, and that is how law works. Let me give reasons why weighbridge exists. Weighbridge are not there to harass people. They are there because overloaded truck, first, they destroy roads. We're the first people who actually complain about our roads having potholes. I don't know. That is one of the major causes of our bad roads. Another reason, cause fatal accidents. You know, when you carry too much and maybe you have not balanced the weight very well, you know, that stability about the vehicle, it can cause accident. And it can even increase maintenance cost. We have seen trucks on the roadside, others you get that their beams are broken, others I don't know they are what, yeah. So that's the reason why they have to make sure that they come with a mechanism of maintaining the weight load of the truck, and lastly, put other road users at risk, because once you have carried a lot of load, and you know, shit can happen. It can break down, it can do everything. Even I've seen even a lorry, we call it a wheel, as actually get out of the nani and then it rolls over the road. You know, that one can cause a lot of harm to people. So when Marwa says that this was their first time, that statement does not remove responsibility. If anything, it exposes ignorance or negligence by the driver. Let me say this. In Kenya, weighbridge are clearly signposted. What do I mean? A lot of them, actually, they put some, they have to give you something like, I don't know how to phrase it, something like before you reach at Weighbridge, you can get like 2 signposts to tell you that in front of you there is a Weighbridge, and mostly there is even other one that passes all over the road, yeah, where it is written that any vehicle above this turn has to divert left so that it goes to the Weighbridge. So there is a clear sign posted in every Weighbridge, and I can submit that. And these Weighbridges in Kenya, they are located along the highway. You pass along the highway on your side. If it is left, if it is right, you can get a Weighbridge there. It is not actually, and it is marked well in advance. The way I was stating that before some distance, you have to see the Weighbridge, some signs and everything. And known to all commercial drivers. Yeah. And that is what I believe. So, they are not hidden in bushes. They are not ambush points. So, claiming that we did not know raises serious questions about drivers. We call it drivers actually competence. Let me just use the word competence so that at least we could understand. Let me tell us why the authorities chased the truck. When a truck bypasses a Weighbridge, it becomes a suspected offender. The law allows Weighbridge personnel and enforcers officers to pursue the vehicle, stop it, arrest the driver and the conductor, and charge them in court. This is not corruption. This is the procedure. And one thing about the Weighbridge, it is written there very well, this is a corruption zone free. And apart from that, we have to understand that the system of the Weighbridge, if the vehicle is being measured, the data actually is being transferred to other Weighbridge. If you do a mistake here, maybe you have been booked to a court or what, then you fail to do that, you're in a total mess. And there's a lot of cameras actually taking photos on the vehicle, number plate, everything about the vehicle. So it is very hard to escape the Weighbridge. Let me say this about the court process. Proves no corruption. Let us look at what actually happened. They were taken to court. They were granted bail. They paid 20,000 Kenyan shillings. That alone destroys the corruption narrative, because if corruption was the intention, the matter would have been sorted on the roadside. No court will be involved. No bail will be issued. No official record will exist. So the fact that they went to the court proves the system really worked well. So when Marwa was claiming that he wanted to talk to them, that suggests that there was an intention of corrupting those officers. So somebody like, and I know very well, if Marwa, maybe they could remove money. At the end of the day, Marwa could do a video then said, we gave them money. We have seen that severally. Look at how lands were being sold in the village. Some people claim that we gave them money. That is corruption. Let me bring something about Marwa's influence claim. Marwa said he tried to talk to the officers because he has influence. Let me be very clear. Influence does not work in law. And because you know very well the village where you come from, you can corrupt the officers, you can bribe the askari so that you can put them in your pocket. This is another region, this is another zone, apart from the Nyabuhansi village that you know. And it never worked. No one is above the law, not wealth, not popularity, not social media followers and followings. So the officers refused to bend rules and showed professionalism, not corruption. And let me tell Marwa this. You have to understand how the county government works. And Marwa keeps repeating the same mistake. He does not understand the function of the county government. In Kenya, we passed a constitution, the devolved government, the way we call it, where the national government on top delegated some tasks to the county government. The county government are allowed by the law to collect cess on goods, regulate trades within their jurisdiction, enforce movement of goods, and charge levies for services. So when hay is transported from Nakuru to Migori, that is inter-county trade. Cess applies, permits applies, and regulations applies. And I don't know if you already have you must get permits even for your horses. To keep horses, you must have something like, we call it permit or what? Something like permit, yeah? You must be having it. If you have not taken that permit, make sure that you take. That is my simple advice. Yeah? Let me talk about the extortion. It is tax compliance. This is not extortion the way Marwa is calling it. So when someone says that this is extortion, every time they are asked to pay legal fees, what it really shows is tax avoidance mentality. And counties are not begging. If you know very well that you are begging, counties do not beg. They are collecting revenues legally owned. If everyone dodges cess, remember, counties will collapse, roads deteriorate, services fail, and then the same people complain again. We have even heard you complaining about the roads. We have heard you complaining about water, about the services, I don't know what. Yeah? Let me talk about the pattern, which is clear. Marwa is bringing out about the motorbike issues. And the reason why the motorcycle was arrested is failure to pay the cess. There is a receipt that is being provided after you pay. You know, Marwa never understood that where they bought the motorcycle from, okay, they paid what we call, okay, the national, let me just put it as one, yeah? The national government taxes, yeah? The VAT, they pay that. But when it comes, when you are after purchasing, when you're passing through, even the border riders, every week, some counties do it every week. Like Migori County, I believe they pay every week, like around 200, 300 every week. So when you pass, and they put some rails on the roadside, and that happens in Awendo, not even in Rongo. In Rongo, it was about Weighbridge, but still, we have county askaris there, roadblock there, that they have to make sure that you pay the cess. So, and you brought again about the horse movement issue. You have to understand that any transportation of animal, you must be having a permit. Movement permit, no objection permit, it has a lot of regulations. So now, hay transportation issues. All these incidences have one thing in common: non-compliance followed by outrage. This is not oppression, this is regulation. And this tells us something very good. Marwa himself does not comply to taxation. If you are now bringing these issues about taxation, paying cess, all these are about taxation. And your history alone tells us that you are one of the individuals that avoids taxation in any way. Let us pay taxes. This is what run the countries. So you're now bringing Africa to this picture. You're now bringing counties to this picture. And it is your own negligence because you are now glued to that money. You don't want the money to leave your hand. The way you know how to beg, the county government, they don't beg. They just produce a receipt. You pay it or you get arrested. And that is how it works. So you have to pay, when you are entering from, Awendo, actually the barrier is after, just some meters after Awendo. So you have to, when you come from Kisii town, yeah, or Homa Bay in that another route, county. So when you reach before you reach Rongo, you have to make sure that you pay in that first roadblock. Or you just do it online. Once you do that, you get that the county authorities or the county askaris won't be on your neck. So let us learn on how to pay this. And there is another narrative that is Marwa is bringing out, that doing business in Africa is very hard. That is a false narrative. Let us not buy that narrative completely, because doing business in Africa is not hard because of laws. Doing business is hard when people want profits without compliance. And that is what is happening. So every country has taxes, weighbridges, permits, and regulations. So try by passing away, let's say, station in a country like US or Europe and say, it is my first time, you will still be arrested. And that is not only happening in Kenya. Even those countries that I've talked about, every country does that. So this situation proves one thing clearly. The authorities did their work. No bribe was taken. The law was applied. And the court handled the case. The problem here is not Kenya. The problem is entitlement and ignorance of the law. Let me close by saying this. If you want to do business, learn the law, respect the law, pay taxes, follow procedures, stop blaming countries, counties by enforcing regulations. Stop calling compliance extortions, and stop misleading the public. Having said that, that is the end of my today's discussion. Let us meet tomorrow for more and more episode. Goodbye. Goodbye. This is not a tattoo. Yeah. Some people might be thinking this is a tattoo. Yeah. This is not a tattoo. You can see there are some injuries there. I was beaten by a dog. And even I saw somebody saying that, hey, he thanked God I was beaten by a dog. Okay. Continue thanking God that I was beaten by a dog. Yeah? I understand you because I know where you belong and you don't feel good when I speak truth to the public. Being honest and transparency is something very good. Goodbye.